Thank you, folks. Welcome along to, I think, the 41st Annual General Meeting of Upper Murray Family Care. And fair to say this would be the first time we've had it in this sort of environment. We'd like to welcome along, obviously, today's participants here in the room, and then also those that are being active through our Zoom facility, which is the way we're doing things in 21st century, post what has been a very challenging year, as we know. I'd like to acknowledge a couple of apologies, one from Mark Dixon from the CEO of Wodonga Council, and Bill Tilley, member for Benambra, who have sent through their apologies. In regards to that, I would like to welcome Liz to do the acknowledgement of country. Please, Liz.
Okay, thank you very much. It's an honour to be able to do this acknowledgement. I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land and where we're meeting today, whose ancient spirit dwells in this land. I want to pay my respect and recognise Aboriginal elders and leaders past and present, and also non-Aboriginal elders who have contributed and help pave the way forward in strength, resilience and self-determination. Thank you and enjoy the meeting.
Thank you, Liz. I'd now like to welcome up Luke Rumbold, who is our CEO, and then we'll get started with the AGM in a more formal sense. Thanks, Luke.
Thank you, Dean, and welcome, folks. So, looking at my running sheet, hopefully people have signed in at the registration desk. And for those on Zoom, just make a note. So apologies, I think Dean has covered off. My first job is to do the confirmation of minutes. So the minutes are in your pack on your chairs. So if people could look at those, and I just need confirmation of minutes of the 35th AGM. So today, actually, Dean, is our 36th AGM, which is good. It's close enough. I mean, the agency would be going 41, but we weren't incorporated by then. So can I get someone to possibly move the minutes of last year's AGM, please, and a seconder? So thank you, Robin, who has moved, and a seconder. Thank you, Sunita. So, Dean, if you would be so kind to sign the minutes, they would be great. Hopefully I gave them to you, so have a crack at that. My job now is to hand over to our board chair, Dean Bouquet, who you met when he started the meeting, for Dean to say a few words and speak to the annual report. So, Dean, that's all yours.
Thank you, Luke. Yes, I apologise, 41 years. I knew it was 41 years of existence, but yes, we did incorporate, so it makes a difference. But it does talk to how long we've been around and how that has changed, obviously, over time. And like I said, this is the first time we've met in this environment, but it perhaps indicates just how resilient Upper Murray Family Care is. We've been able to continue to have a very successful year in our service provision to our clients. You know, the staff have been resilient. The organisation's been resilient, and it's been a fantastic effort to get through the 2020 year as we have. The AGM talks a lot about those very specific examples of that. We'll get to later to some of the awards and so on. But I think as an agency, we have been able to navigate the year and then set ourselves up then for the future very well on the back of both 41 years of existence of good stewardship from the group like this, and then of course with such fantastic staff and the agency running in such a fantastic way. So not much more I can add to that from a general point of view of being here today. It is peculiar for us all, and for those on the teleconference, we welcome you along and thank you for your participation as well. If I move through to some more formal parts of today, I need to pass a resolution around the annual report under item 1.3 of the Rules of Constitution of Upper Murray Family Care Incorporated, being the business at the AGM. The following motion is put. The annual report presented by the Executive on the transactions of the agency for the preceding financial year be received as tabled. I need someone to move that and a seconder, please. Kirsten Genter to be the first and a seconder. Paul Robb, thank you. With that, I'll pass over to Jackie, our Treasurer, to talk to the financial statements.
Sorry, it gets a bit more tricky when you have to remove masks and find glasses and find pages. So welcome everybody. And I'd just like to draw your attention to the financial statements that are in the pack on your seat. Another clean audit that was produced by the agency this year. So congratulations to the finance team. So we all know, like, as it's been said many times, this year has been anything but normal. And I'd just like to acknowledge and thank the very small finance team, that is Ray and Liesl, for their continued hard work and for taking on the challenges that this year has presented and continuing to provide us with good solid results and also the information that we need to make our decisions at a board level. So thank you, Ray and Liesl. The agency turned an operating surplus of $574,000 this year, and forgive me that I can't remember all the numbers, so I will be glancing down at my page. Compared to 2019 of $519,000. So as I've previously alluded to, we maintained a good solid position despite some of the challenges that this year brought. Our net assets or equity are at $11,735,000. That obviously is a very healthy financial position. It includes years of planning and diligent financial management to get there. It's not something that happens overnight. So I recognise and pay tribute to all of the former staff and board members who have put the agency in a really strong financial position to take on the inevitable challenges that are going to come in our new world, and recognising that the funding environment has got more and more difficult to navigate. So while that is a really healthy balance sheet, it's really important that we have one. So, and the Finance and Audit Committee this year has done a lot of work in terms of trying to determine what type of reserve the agency needs, because obviously we are here to provide services and that's our number one criteria. We also need to make sure we're around in the future to do that. So we're trying to find that balance that allows us to have that financial stability, but to also provide the maximum level of service that we are able to within our funding. All right, so the agency operates in a challenging and changing environment, and as it strives to provide quality programs and services to the community and our clients, whilst navigating the income and cost pressure. The board and senior management continues to work towards strategies that will create a sustainable financial model and to ensure a vibrant and meaningful operation of the agency into the future. So I think the formal thing I have to do, unless there are any questions over the financials. Under item 8.1.4 of the Rules and Constitution of Upper Murray Family Care Incorporated, being the annual returns, the following motion is put: that the audited financial statements be tabled as presented and accepted by the members at the annual general meeting. So could I have a mover of that? Thank you, Robin. Second, no. To take my glass. Thank you, Kirsten. The second item that I need to take care of is the reappointment of the auditor for 2020-21 year. One nomination has been received, being from our current auditors, Johnson's MME. So under item 8.1.4 of the Rules and Constitution, being annual returns, the following motion is put: that confirmation of the appointment of auditors Johnson's MME be accepted by the members for the next financial year. If I could have a mover on that. Thank you, Paul. And the seconder. Thanks, Sunita. Okay. And I think that is my job done for the year. Thank you.
Going like a well-oiled machine here. Now that'd be you, Luke. Nominations to the board.
Oh, that's me. I better do this. Yes. Is that my... that's yours. That's my bit, is it? All right. This is going well, isn't it? It's fabulous. Right. So the next bit, folks, and I should also say, given that we've got a virtual AGM going, acknowledging that on the Zoom, not that we can see folk, but they can see us, our life members, I believe. Hopefully Lester is there all the way from Geelong. I hope you're in good form, Lester, and George Pender, I think. And a colleague of mine, David Tennant from Family Care in Shepparton. And I believe our DHHS area director, Richard Slade. So special mention and shout outs to those. But for the election of the board, so nominations have been received by me as the secretary and duly signed as follows. For the board, the four vacancies, Dean Bouquet, Robin Gillis, Sunita Rama and Liz Hetter. So all those folks have re-signed for the board. So what I have to say is under item 6.1.7 of the Rules and Constitution of UMFC Incorporated, being elections, the nominations received by the secretary being equal to the number of vacancies are deemed to be elected. So a round of applause, please, for the good folk who've done so well. Yep. Excellent. So that's it. Next on the agenda is special business. There's been no notice for special business and therefore there isn't any. So we get on to the fun part of the whole thing, which are the presentations. Now, I see that my IT guru has left his spot, so I'm not exactly sure what's happening with our first award. So we might have to skip the first award and go hurtling into the second one, given that we've got the man in the room. So, Dean, I might ask you to come up and do a life membership presentation award, please.
Thanks, Luke. Life membership, very important and significant part of any agency like ourselves, and there couldn't be a more fitting life membership for Greg Pearl. And Greg was my predecessor and made my job obviously much easier for the work that he'd done in his leadership. I think, Luke, you had spoken about it in various formats, and if I read through the thing here, it says Greg's tenure of the board was characterised by calm, respectful, wise leadership and commitment to the Upper Murray Family Care mission. I think that says volumes about Greg and how he led. He was measured, valued, and it's fantastic to have him here today to accept his life membership at Upper Murray Family Care. If you'd like to come up, Greg. Now shake hands in an appropriate way. Please accept some gifts. Greg, I'll just throw them here. The most important one, of course, is the award on the wall. You can see that on TV. There it is. To be held very high in the pool room, I'm sure. Thank you.
Well, I am a bit embarrassed, but I suppose on reflection, thinking about the 12 years or so, it went quick. We were very fortunate with the board that we had during that time. It was, differences of opinions, but we certainly worked through all those. And likewise for the staff, it was a big change for those 12 years in volume and service and so forth. So as I think about the life membership, I really think it reflects the work that everyone did through that time. And no doubt, you know, my grandkids will look at it and say, well, when did you get that for? I said, oh, well, this is what happened during that time. So the organisation is, as Jackie said, very fortunate to have that background and work together. And I suppose the thing that always impressed me along the way is that everyone was at the table or at the organisation for the right reasons. It wasn't about me or you or whatever, but about the people that were being served. So thank you very much for this one. I'll put it up in the shed. And I'll probably take the bottle out with me as well. So anyway, thank you very much.
I think, and also, Chair, you got the most important part of his award, his flowers. So I was shamed by the staff by not getting flowers for him, so that's been corrected. Now I look at our IT guru and say, no, it hasn't worked. Well, that's a shame. But what I might do then is get Jan Bentz to come up, because Jan was the person who worked very closely with our next award, which is our Betty McClean Award. And for those on Zoom and not familiar with the history of the organisation, Betty was a long-standing member of the organisation as a board member. She was a long-standing council member in Wodonga. She was very actively involved in children and family issues. And when she retired off the agency's board, it was decided that the role of volunteers is very important to Upper Murray Family Care, and an award to recognise them in her honour was a fitting tribute. And so from 2000, we've been awarding the Betty McClean Award. Betty, unfortunately, is passed away some years ago, is no longer with us, but her name lives on with the award. And this year, Deb Donovan has been awarded that, and I'd like you to hear a bit about Deb. She's in our annual report, but Jan, where is Jan? Right there. Sorry, Jan, I keep overlooking you. Would you like to come up and just talk a little bit about Deb? That would be very good, I think. Thank you.
Thanks, Luke. Very disappointing that Deb can't be joining us today. Hopefully she's listening to this presentation. Yeah, and hopefully you might be able to get her to link in as we go through, Steve. I'm very lucky to be able to remember Betty McClean. I have been with the agency for a while, and as Lucas said, this award is named in remembrance of. Betty, I remember, was amazing, feisty and loyal supporter of both UMFC and her local community. She was a strong and proud advocate for local people and would speak out loudly and boldly to make sure services and supports always considered the needs of local people. So I think that's why I'm exceptionally pleased that Deb Donovan has been announced as the recipient of the Betty McClean Award, because although Deb may not be as vocal as Betty, she is an extremely fierce and loyal supporter of Upper Murray Family Care, and particularly the families and young people that our organisation supports. Deb was nominated for the Betty McClean Award for her outstanding commitment as a volunteer and the significant impact that she has made in the lives of young people with disability and their families. Working as a support worker, Deb had observed firsthand the additional responsibilities and demands placed on families caring for a child with a disability. She knew she could offer more, and so in 2008, she registered to become a volunteer host carer with the Interchange program, an action that was to have a lasting impact on her whole family. When Deb first commenced volunteering young people in her home and welcoming them into her family, She had 4 young children of her own living at home. What was one more she would used to say, because she loved having children in her home, and she also identified that her own children loved having extra children come and play. That was 12 years ago, and each month and a lot of weeks as well, Deb has had at least one child come to stay and share fun and enjoyable stays with the Donovan family. During these stays, Deb and her family enabled other families to have a break from their care commitments. For many, Deb has been a lifesaver. During her involvement as a volunteer host carer, Deb has provided care to 21 children and their families. I think you'll all agree this is an outstanding commitment. Deb is an extremely caring and generous person, and even as her own children have left home, Deb has continued to open her home and her heart and provide respite care. She's currently supporting a young boy who has autism, who comes to stay 1 night a week and also 1 weekend per month. Providing regular and reliable respite for the out-of-home care child Having the ongoing regular respite has been an immense impact on supporting and maintaining this young person's out-of-home care placement. That is just one example of, the children that Deb has supported over these years. It's been numerous children, as I said, 21. Many of those have been long-term relationships with Deb. They've been coming to visit her, for a year, 2 years, 3 years. Other young people, Deb has opened her, her home to doing emergency respite, and she's provided, when needed, that one-off care for somebody. I'm disappointed that Deb can't be here to give her the, congratulatory elbow bump. But Deb, I hope you're listening, and I think we have some beautiful flowers sitting next to you. So even though we can't see you and we can't hear from you at the moment, please accept and enjoy those flowers as a token of our gratitude and esteem. We also have a certificate here for you, Deb, that we will be sending through to you. So like Greg, I hope you can find somewhere special to hang this award, because as a memory and as a reminder of the great work that you have done, because you are definitely and always will be in our thoughts and in our memories, because you have given so much to Interchange and Upper Murray Family Care. So congratulations, Deb, and hopefully we see you soon, and thank you.
Thank you. Well, folks, I think that brings us to sandwiches, basically. So that's good. So for those on Zoom, I'm sorry we couldn't have seen you, but I hope it's been okay for what you've seen. I'll just finish by saying that this is the last AGM for one of our key staff people, Karen Randall, who's going to be retiring next April. Now, it's a bit cruel to say. She's been doing handstands about being the last AGM and annual report she's had to prepare, which I think is a bit cruel, but she's delighted. But I think it's nice to acknowledge all the AGMs that Karen has kept the minutes and organised and prepared the annual reports for, probably 17 or 18 or something of that magnitude, I think. So Karen, again, personifies what we've heard from Jan. People like Deb, if the agency does have a reputation, it's because of people such as those, as well as our volunteers, which include our board. So we're extremely fortunate. So thank you to all who have participated. I'll call the meeting to a close and invite people to stay and have a very safe and socially distanced refreshment. So thank you all.
Well, congratulations, Deb, on being awarded UMFC's Betty McClean Award for 2020.
Dan?
Betty was an amazing ambassador for UMFC and her local community, and was a great believer in the contribution individuals can provide to their community through volunteering. She would have been in awe of the outstanding contribution you have provided, Deb, to young people with disability and their families. So Deb, how long have you been volunteering with UMFC, and what was your motivation or interest in deciding to become a volunteer with UMFC's Interchange Host program?
Okay, so 12 years, and my main motivation was that I knew that we could do it. I knew that there were children out there, and I saw them every day at work, and I knew that we could do it. I knew that my family was ready and able, and I knew that I had the time and the energy that I thought was needed. So that's basically why, really the main reason why I did it. I knew that I could do it, and I knew that I could make a difference, and that it would make a significant difference to my own children and their experience of the world, so which it has.
Great. So Deb, I'm not sure if you've kept count, but you've actually provided overnight respite care over the 12 years that you've been involved for 21 children. You know, is there any specific memorable moments that you wanted to?
I don't know about moments, but there is significant changes to any child, obviously, that you have for a length of time. So the one that impacted on my children and myself probably the most, and we saw the biggest changes, was a young girl who we had from the age of 2. And so she was didn't speak at all at the age of 2, wouldn't get up and voluntarily walk anywhere. You had to pick her up and pop her somewhere else. And she was capable of walking, and she'd walk with holding her hand, but she wouldn't go there by herself of her own initiative. So we saw her blossom and change into a forever chatty, very vibrant, knew her own mind, and she was just part of the furniture. So she just came ahead in leaps and bounds, and changed so much over the years until she was ready to say goodbye. She'd outgrown us, and off she went into big wide world. And that was by far the most significant change, because we had her for so long as well. So that was amazing. Yeah. Always. I think I remember all of them, but I remember the changes with her were quite significant.
Yeah, sounds like she became a specific part of your family, Deb.
She did. She ran the whole house.
So Deb, you've spoken about your own children, so I'm interested to know what you think your own children gained out of this experience.
I think what they gained was they realised that they had the capacity to actually be comfortable with disability, to be able to care for somebody who needed help, who happened to have a disability. They gained the capacity to be able to communicate with somebody who didn't have communication, to understand the many facets of disability: physical, autism, intellectual disability, the wide range that they had exposure to. I think they gained so much. They gained the capacity to be really confident in lots of different situations, with people their own age, older than them and younger than them, because they understand that lack of communication isn't a scary thing. It's something that they can actually deal with. It's something that they can approach. Doesn't matter what age group, they can actually find out what's going on for somebody. They're not afraid to do it. They're also not afraid to change an adult's, change an adult. They're not afraid to look for services to try and improve somebody's life, to look for goals with somebody. So the 2 younger ones have gone into that field, and they work very confidently in that field, and don't have any desire to work anywhere else, really. That's the field that they've ended up in, and that's the field that they want to be in. I think it's given them confidence way beyond their years. At an early age, they had
confidence with a wide range of people, with and without disabilities.
Sounds like it has had a significant impact on all of you in your family, and obviously influenced their career choices as well. So not only have you been a great role model for the young people that you've brought into your family, but also to your own children, Deb. So Deb, we've said that you've cared for 21 children during your time. What do you think it is that families and the children that you've been involved with have actually gained from the experience of a host family situation?
I think obviously the obvious one is that they get a break. But I think that might be the original driving force. But I like to think what they get is confidence that somebody else can actually care for their child, that their child can be safe with somebody else. And that opens up the world, because if you feel that your child can't be trusted with somebody else, that they're not safe to go and stay with somebody else, then that closes their world, that closes their opportunities. I think that a program like Interchange allows families to be confident moving forward and to be able to look for different scenarios for their child, to be able to open them up to different experiences. I think hopefully I also give families the confidence to be able to look broader, different goals for their child. Different children eat, as you know, they eat different things in different households. They have different behaviours in different households. Independence is different in different households for some unknown reason. And so sharing that information, I have a really good example. A young boy that's staying with us, my son also works with him at school. So I have been cutting up his meat for the whole time that I've had him, and trying to get him to cut up the last little bit of meat just so that he had that experience and he was starting to learn. So one day my son was here, and not long ago, and he saw me cutting up his meat and he said, "What are you doing, Mum?" I said, "Well, I'm getting his dinner ready for him." And he said, "He cuts up his meat very, very, very well at school." I said, "Oh, good grief." Had no idea that he was so competent. And so sharing that with a carer, sometimes I think that helps them to say, "Oh, he can do that. Oh, he is capable of doing that," and vice versa. So I think that's a really valuable. It becomes a team around the child instead of just one person isolated trying to navigate caring for that young person all by themselves. That's what I like to think we do, is we become a team.
Yeah, and I definitely know, Deb, that all the children that have been in your care have had fun. They love coming there, and so, Deb, just to finish off, it's been a great achievement. 12 years, you have done an outstanding, contribution, and I know your children have been involved along the way. But Deb, you're now living on your own. What keeps you coming back? What keeps you here as a volunteer?
Oh, that's easy. I think it gives me something that nothing else in my life does. I work in the same field and I get a lot out of my job, but actually having someone stay and spending time and listening to them and actually sharing their life is a unique experience. You don't have that in any other area of your life, really. I think what the young man gives me at the moment is company. He's a joy to be around. He's hilarious. He's helping him reach his goals, knowing that it's making a difference to his carer. All of that, no other work, no other volunteer position would give me that, I don't think. And I work with amazing people, foster care team, the Interchange team. I cannot imagine why I would give it up. I just can't see why I would give it up. It doesn't make any sense to me to give it up. So,
well, we're exceptionally pleased, Deb, that you're not looking at giving it up, because you have provided outstanding care. And so thank you so much on behalf of UMFC and the Interchange program. Thank you, Deb.
Thank you very much.